Hi BookTube, it's Gina. How are you? Happy Monday. I have actually been meaning to talk to you about this topic for a while, but I was inspired by a couple of recent videos on how and what technology you use for your reading. Now, I did a video a few weeks ago about why I love my physical books, because you guys know I love my books. I guess I'm sort of a collector. I do have a couple of things I would consider collections. I have a lot of bookshelves. I have, what do I have? 9. I think I have 9 of these tall bookshelves in my house. And I love my physical books. So that is not in question. You guys know I love my physical books. But the 2 videos that I saw recently, one was Michael K. Vaughan talking about his technology for reading, what you need, if you even need any. And then Steve Donahue made a response video about that. And it reminded me that I wanted to talk about this because even though I love my physical books, I also love my little Kindle Oasis. And honestly, this is primarily what I read on these days. I still love to buy my physical books, and I am trying to read more of them because I do still love to read my books. However, I love this Kindle. So when I have two reading spots, 2 really cozy reading spots. And the first one is down here. It's in the living room. Let me see if I can, hi Getty. Let's see. This is my reading chair right here. You guys, look at this. Look at this weather we're having right now. Spring is getting here. It's amazing. So this is my reading spot in the living room. So when I'm reading during the day, generally, that's where I'm sitting. And when I'm sitting in that spot, I do like to try to grab one of the books off my shelf and read a physical book. Because it's easy, it's comfortable, it's, you know, it's a good cozy spot. However, the vast majority of the reading that I do in bed. And I love reading in bed. I try to go to bed early. Sorry, I got a cat hair, I think. I try to go to bed early and read for a few hours in bed every night. And when I do that, I love my little oasis. This, I think, is one of the best pieces of technology I've ever purchased. I've had a Kindle pretty much ever since they came out. My sister and my husband went in together and bought me my first Kindle for Christmas one year. I can't even remember now what year that was. I could look it up on Amazon and see. But that was back in the days when they still had little keyboards down at the bottom, which feels like a million years ago. But here's the thing with the Oasis. I love this little green cover. I generally hold it like this. It's got this little ledge for the battery that I know some people use it like this, but I like to hold it like this. I love this device because well, first of all, I love page turn buttons. I know. Most people don't mind just doing this, but I just love to do this and just clunk, 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 clunk to turn the pages. So comfortable. And I just kind of hold it like this. Sometimes I actually hold it with my finger and then I start getting a cramp in my finger. That's maybe too much information. But I love that you can hold it this way, or if you roll over like this, it flips over automatically for you, which I think is a super cool feature. So I love that. You don't have to switch it over. You just, and it switches its orientation. I love page turn buttons. That is like my favorite. I love all of the normal things about a Kindle. So here's the thing. This month is March of the Mammoths. And I bought this book, Lonesome Dove. I want to read it. I started it sitting in my little reading chair right there. And it's fine. But it's so uncomfortable to hold. And maybe as I get older, I find that these big books are just, they're hard on my hands, they're hard on my fingers. I don't know. I'm a lazy cow. I like things to be super easy and comfortable, and these big chunkers just are not. You know what I wish they would do is when you purchase a physical book, especially a brand new book from a bookstore, I wish they would either throw in a free Kindle book, which I know is never going to happen, or even just a cheap Kindle book. Like, here's a QR code for a 99-cent copy of the book. I would buy a 99-cent version of pretty much any of these, but I will not spend more than 99 cents on a book. And I generally will not spend anything on a Kindle book because ultimately, you guys have heard the controversy. You don't really own them. They can change them if the books get revised, like some of the Agatha Christie's that I'm reading have been revised to remove some of the, offensive words, which it's fine. I can read a couple of offensive words here and there. It's fine. So I get the drawbacks to the Kindle. I do. I wish they would just sell cheap copies of Kindle books or ebooks when you buy, especially when you're paying full price for a book. I'm super excited to read this book, but I'm gonna read it on my Kindle. So here's what I normally do. If I buy a book, I reserve it at my library on ebook because my local library system, King County Library System and Snohomish County Library System, I probably could also do Seattle Library, but I find the two library systems I use, King County and Snohomish, they have everything. Now, some of the things I get, I do have to wait for, like Lonesome Dove. I reserved this and it said it was going to be a 6-week wait. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm not going to get it in March in time for not March Mystery Madness. I've been reading a ton of mysteries this month. For March of the Mammoths. I was like, well, that's fine. I'll start it on paper so I could say I started it for the reading event, but then I'm going to read it on here. So I actually got it a little sooner. It said 6 weeks, but I got it in like 3, so it was pretty quick to get. This has got a little stain on it. This is a very well-loved cover. So my local library systems, they have everything. They have not all of them, but they have D.E. Stevenson, they have Noel Stratfield, they have O. Douglas. A lot of the vintage writers that I like, they have, which can really be tough to find on ebook sometimes. So that's my general process when I buy a book that I really want to read, but I know I'm not going to probably pick this physical copy up. I reserve it at my library. I don't have to pay for it. I don't have to pay for a Kindle edition. I have supported my local-ish independent bookstore by buying a physical copy. And I love having physical copies. I love looking at all my books, but I really like reading on my Kindle. So what do you guys think? I know most of you do love physical books, but do you also read on your e-reader? This is really blurry. I read it on dark mode at night because it's so comfortable on my eyes. This is a mystery called the Cape Cod Mystery, the first in the A.Z. Mayo mystery series, which is set in Cape Cod. And I also got this recommendation from Steve. So this is a really fun book. Definitely recommend. I'll talk about it in my March Mystery Madness wrap up. So what do you think? Are you a fan of e-readers? Not so much. I do think e-reading is so comfortable. I could take this anywhere. I actually have a little tiny Paperwhite too that is older that I use when it's maybe like not half this size, but it's much smaller than this. It doesn't have this little bevel on the side, and I could throw that in. It's tiny. I can throw it in a bag. I carry it around with me pretty much everywhere. I also do, I'm recording on my phone, so I can't show you. Occasionally, I read on my phone. I actually started this book on my phone because we got stuck at a doctor appointment for Getty, which we weren't imagining. We were just taking him in for a specialty follow-up. My cat, Getty's having some digestive issues. We took him in to a specialty doctor, an internal medicine doctor, and she recommended doing a biopsy, which we did, but it meant we had about 3 hours at the vet to wait. We went and had something to eat. But I got this Cape Cod Mystery. I just got it on my phone, and I started reading it, downloaded it immediately on my Libby app, started reading it. And then when I got home, I started reading it on my Kindle because I hadn't taken my Kindle with me because we weren't really planning on being there for a long time. So love my Kindle app. Love, here's the daily look at Getty. Getty. He's doing well. He started on steroids to help him eat and to help with the inflammation, and he's doing a lot better. So anyway, I enjoyed talking to you today, and I'll talk to you later.